So I get asked the question a lot, why should I address different leads differently? Like, why should I say something different in my first email or first phone call? Why should I say something different than I do to this particular lead, one that comes direct from the manufacturer, as opposed to a third-party lead, maybe one from Edmunds or Auto Trader or something? Why should I vary what I say? Well, I mean, the number one reason you should vary what you say is because they're not all in the same place in the purchase process, right? So somebody who submits a third-party lead from, an Edmunds, a KBB, an Auto Trader, something like that, they don't even know what they want to buy yet. They're trying to see what's out there. So you'll get some people who are loyal to one OEM or another and will actually go directly to the manufacturer's site and start looking around, particularly someone who's at the end of a lease, or someone who is, that's their brand per se. But majority of people, they'll go to a third-party site because that's the most, in their eyes, that's the most level playing field. Like, I can see all the brands and models here, and I can see, I know what features I need in my new car, so I can see all the the models and features. I can do side-by-side comparisons, things like that. So someone who's submitting a lead from that third-party site, they're not going to close as quickly. So I don't like to use the term, they don't close, the close rate sucks, or the lead suck, or I don't like to use all that, because technically that's not it. It's more that customer's just not ready to purchase yet. They haven't gotten to the middle, I guess the mid-funnel section of where they are in their buying journey. That's probably the easiest way to put it. In the sales funnel, they haven't gotten there yet because they really haven't picked a vehicle. They know that they have to, for instance, I'll use the last time I shopped for a car. I wanted ventilated seats because I live in southern Arizona. I wanted ventilated seats, and I wanted a really nice premium sound system. And those were pretty much my deal breakers. Anything else, it was a negotiable. And of course I had my budget in mind that I wanted to stay in. So when I started shopping for this vehicle, I was being presented with options, different vehicles, not brand specific, but different vehicles that I wanted to look at. So trying to narrow down, okay, this particular brand, this model actually meets my needs for these two options that are my deal breakers. Plus, look at the other things I get. Okay, well, this is one I'm going to put in my consideration set. And then I'm probably going to pick at least 2 or 3, at the most, maybe more, but on average 2 or 3 that are in my consideration set. And then I'm going to go look and see what I like about this one, what I don't like about that one, and eliminate it down to probably 2. And then at that point is typically when most customers reach out to a dealership and they want to test drive, right? They want to kind of see, all right, well, how does this handle? How do the seats feel? Is there a funky smell inside? Stuff like that. And then you move forward from there. Well, what also tends to happen during the course of this is that people submit additional leads. So in too often as salespeople, we get caught up in I'm already talking to them. They already submitted a lead. I don't need to talk to them again. So yes, you do. You haven't said anything of value to them, or else they would not be back online shopping and submitting more leads. So what you really have to go back and look at is, what did I say to them already that I can supplement now going forward and stop them from shopping and get them to come into my store, so we actually have an outside chance at selling a car to them from our stock. So that kind of conversation of, these leads are third-party leads are all garbage. I disagree. I think it's someone who's not quite as far along as someone who, say, calls the store, or someone who submits a lead on your website. Someone who submits a lead on your website, they actually know they're going to buy your brand, and they know they're going to buy probably at least 1 or 2 specific models between that your brand sells. That's what they're going to buy. So that's why they've reached out to a specific brand. This one either has a good reputation, or I found out from my friend on Facebook that she bought a car that she had a great experience, whatever it may be, however they got to your store. That's why they close at a quicker rate, not a better rate, I'm going to say, but a quicker rate. But also someone who submits more more than one lead, they're reaching that zero moment of truth faster. So I know if someone submitted a lead through a third-party source, let's say KDB, last month, and then this month they're submitting a lead through my website, I probably have at least anywhere from 72 hours to 2 weeks before they're actually going to make a buying decision. So that's a long span. I get it. I know. But what we have to bring to the table between those times is we actually have to have constructive conversations with them, adding value to why they should buy from us. So let's say someone is looking at, I don't know, for instance, a smaller SUV and then a car, and they're comparing those two to see which one meets their needs best. Fantastic. So I know I have to have, as a salesperson, I have to have the conversation that here's the benefits of the SUV, and here's the benefits and features of the SUV, and benefits and features of the car. Now let's weigh those together, and let's figure out what works best for your particular situation. We really, we have to think of the life cycle of the customer, not just in terms of lead submission, car purchase, after car call, and then that's our only contact with them. We need to move beyond that into a life cycle kind of customer experience. And I think that's one thing that I don't see enough stores doing. Like the Highline stores have this down pat. Like if you're at a BMW or Mercedes store or Audi, Porsche, I mean, they teach you this from day one. These are lifetime customers. We want to keep them for as long as they are owning, want to own cars. We're going to keep them in our little biosphere, our BMW or whatever, Mercedes biosphere that we have. So I think that's where some of the other brands, the Asian brands and the domestic brands, Ford, Dodge, I think that's where a lot of these brands kind of, I don't want to say drop the ball because that sounds like it's intentional, but I think that's where they fumble a little bit. Is our stores are so concerned with, well, we're going to sell them this one car, and we're going to try to make them happy. We're going to do everything we can, or we're going to lop their head off and make a bunch of money off them. But you have to stop thinking that way. You have to start thinking of, I want this customer to not think, oh God, I got to buy another car. I want this customer to say, you know what, we need a new car. Why don't you go ahead and call John and let's get it started, and not make it such a painful experience anymore. I mean, that whole, sitting in the dealership for 4 hours while we argue about, $8 on the payment per month, that's just not gonna, I don't feel like that's the way that we're going to be selling cars in the future. So the sooner we acclimate ourselves to creating that great customer experience from the first second they talk to us on the phone or email or whatever it is, right through the life cycle of that customer when they're buying their 5th, 7th, 10th, 20th car from us, we want to be that one-stop life cycle type of customer experience. So the sooner you can make sure you're responding to those leads individually by where they are in the purchase funnel, the better your follow-up game after they purchase the car, the more constructive and creative you can get with your verbiage that you put into your emails and your voicemails, the more you stand out from the competition, and the more you're going to be able to retain that customer and build that rapport, not just for this sale, but for a lifetime of sales. And that should really be your goal. If you've been at one dealership selling one brand for more than 3 years, you should have a decent book of business, not a fantastic one, but a decent book of business to start asking for repeat referrals. If you've been there for 5 years or 8 years or more at the same dealership selling the same brand, you should be 20% counting on what traffic's coming into the store via the internet, phone, walk-ins, and 80% should be generating your own book of business based on your repeat and referral customers. And if that's not the way it's set up, you gotta get there. You're welcome to reach out to me. I can shoot ideas to you and let you know how different ideas for what to say on day 1, day 20, day 40. Maybe I'll do that next time. Thanks for watching. Happy selling.